We've got the return of an old favorite, the redesign of an old favorite, and some crazy looking blades on today's episode of New Knives, where I have the coolest new knives that have just hit our shelves. Let's check them out. Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center. Welcome to the show. The first thing today is the return, the restock of our exclusive button lock Swordfish from Bestech with Magna Cut steel. Very cool knife to begin with and a very good bargain. It's a 3 3/4 inch blade of Magna Cut. The price is just $120, just under $120 for either of these. You could pick the black blade with black hardware tuxedo version or the satin blade with satin hardware tuxedo G10 version. I kind of like the satin, so we'll stick with that one for the demonstration here. 3 3/4 inch blade, so it is a large knife, but it doesn't feel overall like a large knife. You know, you've got a fairly narrow profile. There's definitely enough girth there. You can get a larger grip on the knife, but it's something that is a very easy model to incorporate into your daily life. It doesn't, require a big commitment in pocket space for you to be able to carry such a large blade, which is a very cool thing. The button lock provides easy left-hand operation. The pocket clip, deep carry pocket clip, however, is right side mounted. It's not reversible in this case, so bear that in mind if you're a lefty taking a look at this blade. Significant finger guard there to protect you from sliding forward. Plenty of girth, like I mentioned, to push into some harder cuts. Finger safe closing action, snappy opening. A lot of good things to like about this. We're glad they are back, and it is quite a good deal for this this type of performance, materials, money. Check it out if you're so inclined at the link below, which is where you can find all of this stuff, by the way. Provided Thomas does his job and actually puts it down there. He usually does, to be fair. All right, well, this next knife is a revamping of a favorite. This is the new version of the Rockwall flipper from Tactile Knife Company. Now, the original Rockwall was a flipper, but it was a shorter 3-inch blade. This is about 3.4 inches now. The Rockwall that got like super famous was the thumb stud version, I think, that came about a year or so after the original flipper version. Well, now they've brought the flipper back with a larger blade. It's not quite as long as the Swordfish, but I still think this kind of falls into like that big easy knife territory. It feels like it's a little bit longer than 3.4 inches on the blade, but again, it's something that doesn't take up much room in the pocket. You don't have to commit a huge chunk of real estate to carry a full-sized blade such as this. We've also got Magna Cut steel here as well, which in addition to being stainless and possessing high edge holding capabilities is also very tough. On a thin bladed folder like this, that allows the blade to have a little more strength than it would if it were made of a quote unquote lesser steel, and you can keep the edge at a more acute angle without risk of deformation if you wish as well. $369 for this knife. It's made in Texas. The titanium handles are really finely machined, a little bit, tiny bit at the edges, more contoured than the previous generation of the Rockwall. Feels really good in the hand. No matter how you hold it, you can hold it like this all day if you want, I guess. Just feels good, man.
Now he's just spinning his wheels.
What are you gonna do? Deep carry pocket clip, right side only, inset liner lock. This is a decidedly right-hand biased knife. Flipping action is really good. They've got things really dialed in with this model. The fit and finish is excellent, and it better be, quite honestly, for the price these run. Really, really nicely done. I like the colors of the accents here as well on the pivot, the hardware, and the back spacer. We've got that same color combo on the Maverick from Tactile Knife Company. This is a Richard Rogers design. This one is about $349. 3.5 inch Magna Cut blade again. Plenty thin, good slicing geometry, stonewashed finish on both of these knives, which is a nice thing for actually getting out and using the blade so your scratches kind of hide in that stonewashed finish a little bit. Slimmer handles here as well. Titanium again, signature diagonal milling. single-sided pocket clip again here. So even though the lock and the thumb studs make it easy to use in the left hand, the pocket clip will not switch around. Washers in the pivot of this knife as opposed to ball bearing, so you got a little bit more resistance to dust and grit, but as you can see, the action is still quite nice indeed. It's kind of like the gentleman's crossbar lock out there. I wouldn't say it fills the hand as much as something like a Sebenza would. There's a reason I mentioned the Sebenza. But it has similar kind of upscale feel to something like a Sebenza potentially. I think fit and finish tolerances on a Sebenza are still a bit higher, but this is no slouch whatsoever. It is really, really nice. If it's too rich for your blood, we have, I think, the least expensive tactile knife we've had on the site before. This is a limited release of their Bear slip joint, $179. So still not a cheap knife, but the titanium versions of this sit around 200 bucks. This has a G10 handle, so it knocks a little bit off the price, but it still has that really nice texture, gives you grip and traction without being grabby and shreddy. It's not gonna tear up your pockets, I wouldn't say. Thomas, this didn't come with like a pocket slip or anything, did it?
I don't know.
Do you recall? Nah, well. If it does, you'll see it in the B-roll right now.
I left the boxes with you.
Nice, thin MagnaCut blade again. Really thin edges, really acute tip. This is a precision cutting instrument, not a big brute force thing, but it's a slip joint. It's non-locking, those typically aren't big brute force things anyway. It's gonna carry nice and slim as well. All right, I did mention Sebenza earlier, and we do have a new Sebenza on the table. It may not feel strictly new, but this is finally the first time we've been able to get MagnaCut bladed Tonto Sebenza 31s in the standard plain Jane satin sandblast finish handles, and they're here. Now they exist. Yeah, we've had our exclusive version with the MagnaCut Tonto blades. There was a limited release a while back of the 31 with old S35 VN blades before they switched over to MagnaCut. But if you've been waiting for a plain Jane MagnaCut Tonto Sebenza, the day is yours. Price on these are 500 bucks. We've also got the new glass blasted finish, which is a $50 upcharge from the standard. The standard sandblasted finish here gives you a bit more traction. In fact, you can kind of hear it right there. And that will pick up, what is affectionately referred to as snail trails amongst the Sebenza community out there. So as things rub up against it, you're going to get some marks, some wear, essentially stonewashing your handle as you use it. But if you prefer to have something kept more clean over time, the glass blasted finish has a slightly shinier appearance than this and is less prone to snail trailing. The blade itself is MagnaCut. Everything's MagnaCut so far.
Everything's coming up MagnaCut.
I didn't even do that on purpose when I did the order here.
I'll bet you that pen's MagnaCut.
It is not. What'd you bet?
Good guess,
How much did you bet? I should have made you put your money down before.
It's worth a shot.
3.6 inch Tonto blade, hollow ground with the stubby flat grind there at the tip, giving you precision slicing behind the edge along most of the blade, and yet more robustness at the tip itself, which is a pretty good combination, I would say, for a heavier duty user. The Sebenza has always been a knife that works really hard. It's not, yes, it's an expensive knife, but it is made to be used, and the design of it and the mechanism of it is made to stand up to heavier use. I would argue that the Tonto blade is probably the heaviest using version of the Sebenza blade shapes, because you have more robustness at the tip than the others. The frame lock, of course. The frame lock was invented by Chris Reeve and introduced to the world on the original Sebenza way back when. Gives you that, pardon the use of the phrase, but that bank vault lockup that everyone talks about. It is super, super stable. Washers in the pivot of this as well. Blue accents. It's a Sebenza. Yes, it is expensive. It's an expenza? I don't know. Let's try something.
Exposition.
But it is exceptionally built. Next up, we do have a pen, and it is not made of MagnaCut, despite Thomas's hopefulness there. BIGiDESIGN is the company. This is their new baseline capped pen. Now, we had the baseline bolt action recently, and this is the new baseline capped, coming in at 65 bucks, which I believe is the same price as the standard. I haven't checked to see if it caps. Yes, it does. So you can cap the cap at the back to give you a full-size experience there. Titanium construction, and it was designed to be like their entry point to a really high-quality titanium pen that's not going to break the bank. Because they do have some more expensive options out there, but this sits at a really nice cross-section of quality, utility, and price. Designed to accept Parker-style refills, so a lot of the Schmidt cartridges, the Megaline, the Easy Flow, the Fisher Space Pen cartridge if you're into pressurized cartridges. The world is your oyster when the Parker-style refill is being used. It comes with, what does it come with? A Schneider Gelion 39 gel refill. I've never used one of those, but it's a gel, so I bet you it's quite smooth. The weight on this is really nice too. It's got a little bit without being too unwieldy. And if you take the cap off, it's even more manageable. 1.26 ounces for the whole package. Pretty nice. All right, everything up to now has had MagnaCut. Next up, not MagnaCut. And everything has had pretty straightforward profiles and blades. Let's mix it up, shall we? You don't have a choice, I'm going to anyway. This is the Orc Boss from We Knife Company. Is this practical? Maybe. But for most folks, probably not. But it is, well, I hesitate to be too dramatic, but it is wicked. 467 bucks for this version. There's a few different flavors. 3.8 2-inch blade, CPM 20 CV, titanium handles with a frame lock and carbon fiber inlays. We don't care about that. We care about this blade in this case. The grinds on this are really, really cool. It is compound ground. You've got this center section here, which is like a really shallow fuller, or you could think of this as being a shallow hollow grind there, and then flat ground here at the edge. You've got that S curve going on, bellied at the back, recurved at the front. I mean, it's just so freaking cool, right? I mean, there's definitely uses for this type of tip, getting under like pallet straps and that sort of thing. Couldn't you see this being like a warehouse worker's knife?
Looks like Wee's back on the menu.
Well done. Well done, Thomas. I mean, it's just so cool. We Knife Company does amazing stuff in terms of their quality to price ratio. And the same applies here, just on this wild shape. I mean, did you hear the sound that made? Man, that's satisfying. So satisfying. Check it out. A couple of the versions we've had have already sold out. I'm sure we'll be able to get more. But I especially like the version that has the polished gray blade. That one, like, you really get to see the differences in those grinds. I think it really pops on that version in particular. Check it out, man. Next up, we have the Tayra, a new karambit, true karambit from We Knife Company, which is kind of cool to see. They haven't been doing as much with karambits lately, but early on they were, there was a fair number of things I would say in their lineup. This one feels a little more sleek, a little more refined than some of those. 2.19-inch blade, M390 steel, 268 bucks for this version. And the tip itself is a little more stout than some karambits because of this chop right here. Instead of coming all the way down to a more acute tip. It's still plenty acute, don't get me wrong, but a little extra strength out of this. Titanium frame, blue stone washed backspacer that also creates the pivot ring right here. We logo there on the pivot itself. Did I say pivot ring? I meant finger ring back here. Pretend that didn't happen.
We remember.
And it is set up for true right-hand karambit use right out of the box. Because true karambit use, as it is quote-unquote intended, is held inverted like this. Index finger through the ring for actual martial arts moves, we'll say. You know what I'm talking about. And it can be reversed for left-hand use, or it can be reversed if you just want to be able to pull it from your pocket and flip it open with the flipper tab and use it more like a regular knife. But when you've got it set up for actual use, you've got the pocket deployer here, which is screwed in from the back. It creates this little post, which, much like the Emerson Wave that popularized this concept, you can angle it to catch the hem of your pocket. So as you draw the knife, the blade is deployed and you can get to it really, really quickly. Super nice, man. A few different colors can be had. There's a black version that has gold stonewashed accents. There's a blue titanium version. It's like the reverse of this. Blue tie with gray accents. There's even a carbon fiber with a two-tone blade. That's also pretty cool. Next up, from WE's budget subsidiary, CIVIVI, we have the Natterjack, a also wild-looking blade, but just on the spine. The edge itself is actually fairly conventional, but you've got almost like SOG knife scallops on the front, like the old MACV SOG buoys in a way. $68 or so. Actually, they start at $67, depending on which version you get. There's like a $1.50 spread between them there. So, or actually, no, less than $1 spread between the least and most expensive. Interesting. 14C28N is the blade steel, 3.2 inches long. Great steel if you like toughness in a stainless and you can't afford MagnaCut prices. You're not going to get edge retention like you would with MagnaCut, but 14C is a very tough steel for sure. That lets you have that thinner blade with enough strength and the ability to have a very acute edge angle too. Good stuff. High flat grind on this, G10 for the handles, deep carry pocket clip, which is reversible, and button lock for usage. So lefties or righties, well taken care of with this one. Good flipping action. You've also got thumb studs. If you would rather thumb it open rather than finger it open, take your pick. Feels pretty good. The scallops in the handle don't really detract too much from the grip. In fact, I'd say it adds to it just a little bit. My initial worry with this, with anything with finger grooves, sometimes if your fingers don't quite perfectly match up, it can create some ergonomic issues. But these are gentle enough where it's not really a problem. Even though I don't like fully fit on, actually it's better than you would think for my slightly larger than average hands. Yeah, this kind of grip I'm kind of sliding over the peaks a little bit, but again, they're so gentle that it still works. Cool EDC. Cool shape, something a little different from the norm while still providing a very useful edge overall. Very useful edge shape, I should say. All right, from the budgetiest subsidiary of WE Knife Company, Sencut, we have the Slybolt coming in 42 and some change right now. Bigger blade, 3.6 inches, and I believe this is their first usage of a crossbar lock in the Sencut lineup. Blue denim micarta on this one, or blue canvas, I guess. But you can also get black canvas and green canvas, it looks like. A couple different options. Check them all out at the link below. Feels really good. Plenty of length in the handle for bigger grips. Plenty of blade length for bigger jobs. 3.6 inches, like I mentioned. The steel, I believe, is going to be 9CR, which is good stuff in the budget range for sure. It's going to hold an edge better than typical 8CR steels, which probably get a little bit of an unfair bad rap, but 9CR is definitely the next rung up from that. Reversible deep carry pocket clip here as well, meaning this is another fully ambidextrous knife. Cool. Yeah, I like the jimping along the spine there. Gives you plenty of extra traction if you like to get your fingers out that way. The tip is a little bit on the higher side because it's a very gentle clip point here, giving you lots of belly. So if you do a lot of like detailed tip work, this might not be the blade shape for you. But if you do a lot of like, slices or more, this type of cutting motion, all the belly on that blade is definitely going to be an advantage for you. But we're talking about crazier blades. That was a little normal, so let's go a little crazy again. The Shawka is finally here. SHAWKA from CIVIVI, a folding fillet knife. Price on these is a little bit high for a normal CIVIVI, but I wouldn't say it's high for what it is because it is a bit more complex than their norm. 113 or about $114 right now. 5.8 inch blade of 14C28N, and it is it is treated to have a little bit of flex. So yes, you can use this as a fillet knife. It's kind of like a medium flex, I would say. It's not super, super flexy, but neither is it very rigid, of course, as well. Aluminum handles with 2 tones going on. There's a couple different tones that you could go on with. Fold the part of the handle out like this, then make sure it's locked so you avoid edge contact. Inset liner lock, or technically that is a liner lock. Fold the blade, and there you go. No pocket clip, but it does come, it's almost comical to say that, right? But it does come with a nylon belt sheath, snap closure here, snap closure on the back, which means you can get it on and off the belt a little more easily if you don't want to take your full belt off to do it. You can do it that way. And it also looks, these, there are 2 little pockets or 2 little sleeves here, left or right. They don't have something that goes in them, but you could probably figure out something to put in them. Maybe there's something obvious that I'm not thinking about. I don't know. But the cool thing about this, the fun part about it, is undo the lock here that locks the bottom part of the handle in place, and then that's just fun. That's just really cool. Handles pretty nimbly. I like the feel of the aluminum handles here. The cool thing, because this kind of folds up, is this is very comfortable. I mean, even like the most comfortable folders, which I'm not saying that Sebenza is one of the most comfortable folders, but even comfortable folders, you deal with this gap here. And on a lot of them, you deal with this gap on the back. And that can introduce a place where hot spots can occur. Not the case here. Just nice and smooth, no pinch points built in. And ergonomically, I think it's a really nicely designed shape to actually hold and to use. Very cool. Speaking of good ergonomics and the lack of hot spots, the Acha from LionSteel is in the house. These start at about 190 bucks, the black coated versions like this. This one's at about $207. This is a takedown fixed blade. I'll get to that part in a minute. But you can undo this screw here at the back and take all the parts apart for cleaning or whatever. But the handle itself, because of that, is a single piece, in this case of burlap micarta, and ergonomically it's quite good, and no seams, no spine sticking out, no gaps, no places for stuff to like wedge in there, including your fingers. It's just a great feel when you put it in your hand, which is very cool. Great outdoor design as well for any kind of general purpose outdoors knife. 4.5-inch M390 blade, not the toughest steel in the world, but it will hold an edge quite a long time, and you've got enough thickness at the spine to give it a little more strength to kind of work or aid in the steel selection right there. High flat grind with a little bit of a swedge at the back, crown spine, so it's very comfortable to use, and if you needed to use it in an emergency to baton firewood, split some logs, it's not going to tear up your baton as much either. Let's get to the part you really want to see, right? It does come with this, I guess we'll call it a wrench. It's really just like a stick.
It's a knife iron.
It's a knife iron. But you throw it here in the back, and it might take a couple turns to get it going, because the handle does prevent you from just like spinning it around constantly. Do that a few times. Thomas might speed it up. Be like some Benny Hill.
We can't afford the license.
Yeah, probably not. So there we go. I got it backed out enough now. We can just free spin it with our fingies. There you have that post. And there you have the other constituent parts of the blade. So yes, I know some folks prefer a full tang when heading outdoors for strength. I will say this does at least feel like a fairly robust partial tang, but if you do want a full tang, obviously this is not the knife for you. So it's puts together really simply. Oh, I'm gonna have to wash my hands before we go to the next. Oh, dang. Definitely gonna have to do that.
That's literally on you.
So slide the bolster back into place, slide the handle as well. Throw the bolt in at the back. It's not bolt, it's female end, so I don't know what you would call it. And screw it back down, and away you go. The sheath for the Acha is much like a lot of LionSteel's outdoor fixed blades. Really high quality leather, molded really nicely at the top as well, and you have a retention strap there for a little extra retention, eh? Maybe they should call it a retention strap.
Or bungee.
Unfortunately, it does not bungee. Next up, some more fixed blades. It's fixed blade time. ESEE's newest release, a James Gibson design. It is James's and ESEE's take on the Canadian belt knife. We actually showed that a week or two ago. The new Groman stuff we expanded our selection of. They are the makers of the prototypical archetypal Canadian belt knife. This is the ESEE Knives belt knife. Because, you know, it's an American company.
Big belts.
Big belts. It's a bit on the shorter side compared to the original, but it's a really nicely sized small knife for small hunting needs, small game, or even just, you know, your sidearm camping knife. If you don't need something, you know, bigger, full size, this would make a great knife to just take around and use around at camp. I could see this working really well on a farm or something like that, or even as an everyday carry fixed blade, quite honestly. $200, 2.8-inch blade, Magna Cut steel. This is made for ESEE by White River Knives, and longtime viewers of this channel will know almost every time we talk about White River, I complain that they're underrated because the quality they do is really good, like really good, but fewer people seem to know about them, be aware of them. Really cool stuff. The handle's a burlap micarta, a little bit of sort of like a vertebrae ridge pattern here along each side. Vertebrae might be giving it a little too much artistic credit, but I like it. Feels good in the palm, good jimping under the thumb for standard use. This has always been a good pattern generally for food prep, and while the short blade works against it a little bit on this front, the overall handle shape and the angles give you a good opportunity for making knuckle clearance if you're working on a surface like a cutting board. Really nice. Thickness is, what's that, about 1/8 of an inch? 0.125, exactly 1/8 of an inch. And you've got a saber height flat grind there. So again, not the sliciest thing, but something that should be very durable when you go to use it outdoors or anywhere. It doesn't have to be outdoors. You can use it indoors if you want. Leather sheath as well. Really nice polished welt here on the side. Good package, $200. All right, next up we have another small fixed blade. And yes, I realize it's facing the other way, but that's because the logo is on this side. We always try to have the logos facing up. The Casstrom No. 8. I don't think we've had these before. If we have, these are new versions of them anyway. These run about $150. They are made in Sweden. The ergonomics of it for such a small knife are really excellent. This is my second favorite thing to hold that's on top of the table right now. Get to my favorite in just a minute. Just really, really nicely done overall, like expertly contoured, just the right places. It's just enough for a full-sized grip without overwhelming the 3 1/4 inch blade. The material here is a green and black layered linen micarta. Really nice brass pins, or bolt, well, I guess they're pins, not bolts, and brass lanyard tube there at the back. Scandi grind with 14C28 and steel, which Scandis themselves are fantastic at carving wood, but you do need a steel, or it's preferable to have a steel with a good amount of toughness to support the very acute angle that a Scandi grind brings to the table. So 14C, great choice. Spine is not super crisp, as you know, not as crisp as something like an LT Wright, but is certainly crisp enough to throw sparks from a ferro rod. And you can get it at this $150 price point. I should mention that comes with the leather sheath with the ferro rod. If you do not want said ferro rod, you can get this same knife for about $118 and change with a leather sheath with no fire steel loop or fire steel in it. There's also a birch wood handle option if you prefer. I like this, it feels really good. The cool thing about micarta, especially on a fixed blade, it can feel a little bit more tractionable, a little bit tackier when it's wet. That's a good thing too. Here is the fit in the sheath. Quite nice overall. I'm real happy with this. This would make a great, again, kind of like the ESEE, a great small camp knife for having on your belt all the time, and then you could pair it with something bigger, a bigger tool for whatever your environment calls for. But I could see just passing hours whittling with this knife without feeling uncomfortable at all. Like, So good. My favorite thing on the table to hold, though, is this next knife. This is the Fox-designed Fenix. Spelled like the flashlight company, actually, F-E-N-I-X. $216 for this Santos wood handle option. 4 3/4 inch Nylox blade, trailing point with a high satin finish there. Great slicer, great larger, mid-sized to larger hunting knife here. But man, these handles are wonderful. Like, you know, looking at the pictures, it looks great. You never know how something's gonna feel. As soon as I put it in my hand, it's like, man, does that feel like home. Really nice swell here in the middle. You've got an inverted egg shape going on to the cross section this way, which just makes it melt into my palm. Feels fantastic. I've got just enough length too between the guard and the beak here for my slightly larger than average hands. If I'm wearing gloves, I might be a little more cramped, but man, then I wouldn't get to feel it quite as much. I'm serious, guys. It's really, really sweet. Crown spine all around, again, keeping things nice and comfortable up here, as well as all the way around without getting too much in the way. If you need a slicey hunting knife, or even a slicey camp food prep knife, there's not a lot that's gonna feel more comfortable than this. The blade stock is not crazy thin, so it might not be as perfectly suited for food prep all the time. We're like 0.16 on that blade thickness right there, but man, when I run out of words, that's when you know, like, I really like these things. Comes with a black leather sheath. There it is. Got the Fox logo kind of emblazoned there on the front. Standard design, but really nicely executed on the sheath.
We don't have all day, David.
I like it. Made in Italy, of course, being a Fox. Another Italian knife now, the Viper Quality. That is its name. $122 for this, and it is a beaut, as they say. 3-inch blade, N690, high polish right there. Like that's pretty much mirror polish. Thomas, have fun with that on the B-rolls. It's gonna have fun. It is a lockback. Check out the cool details here on the back spring that are carried over into the spine of the blade, the crown spine and the crowned back spring. It's these, this is almost feels like vertebrae in a way too, you know? But you can see the that lift up when I disengage the lock back there. So smooth on the close. Olive wood for the handles, a really excellent shape overall. It's just, it's nice, you know? Quality is the name, and you know, I think it does it. Does it? Does it? I think it does it. Man, that's really good. This does come with a leather pocket slipper here, because there is no pocket clip, of course. And Thomas, the thing you're gonna have fun with when you're shooting the B-roll here is every time you open it, you get to put a nice big old fingerprint on it.
Well, I hope I'm not get framed for any crimes.
Don't worry, we're already on it. Man, just super. All right, couple more affordable knives to end the thing. Did I say the price on that? Yeah, $122. Couple more affordable knives now. We have got the Bestechman Lanza, 42 and some change for this knife. This is a kombu design. Really narrow profile overall. This is almost, one could say this is inspired by something like the CRKT CEO perhaps, while stretching out a little bit, trying to do its own thing. 14C28N steel here, plenty thin, really acute. That toughness of that steel is going to help that tip stand up a little bit better. However, don't go like poking it in something and prying it. You still could really damage this tip. It is very needle-like. Two-tone G10 handles, several flavors are available. Wrap around deep carry pocket clip. It has the same kind of use as a tail-mounted clip, but it's actually mounted from the opposite side, and it is reversible as well. That's really nice execution overall. It is a front flipper. It's the only front flipper on the table.
Do it.
I said I wasn't going to do front flippers anymore.
You say that a lot, and yet you still front flip.
It's like it's my job or something. Actually works all right for me. Usually I prefer the types of front flippers that are like top accessible as opposed to true front accessible, but this one's working pretty well for me. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, check it out. Another designer that Bestech and by proxy, Bestech Man deals with a lot. In addition to Kombu, there is Mr. Ostap Hell, and this is the Flick, appropriately named Flick. Just under $45 for this. 3.5-inch blade, D2 steel. What are we dealing with here? It's technically, you could call this a drop point, but it's a straight back spine until it drops just a little bit. And I'm talking just a bare little bit right there at the tip. Full flat grind, should slice pretty well. D2 is going to provide really good edge retention at this price point at the expense of a little bit of stain resistance. It's not a fully stainless steel. Reversible deep carry clip, inset with pocketed with inset screws or flush head screws. Words. It's the last knife. Give me a break. I'm losing words. Several handle flavors are available in addition to this toffee flavored one right here. Inset liner lock for security. Standard rear flipper. Works nicely. The handle shape works. I like how it's flaring out a bit here at the back. That gives the actual grip strength fingers of your hand a little more to hold on to if you need to push the knife. And it also has the advantage of bringing the belly a little more in line to your slicing motion. So that is a pretty cool consideration, I would say. Check it out. Feels very good, especially for 45 bucks. And that's all we've got for today, folks. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives, check out the links in the description, which will take you to KnifeCenter.com. And don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or our sezzle payment options that check out if you want to make these more expensive knives a little more manageable in their payment chunks. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center, and that's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.